Anya! Yeah, that's how the Koreans say hello. Yes, it's me, TFR Wilderness, and I'm bringing to you today the first of this month's KTRT reviews. Now, back in the last year, I got into two separate Korean toy lines, which I decided to buy back to back over the last couple of months of last year. And those two lines was the Hello Carbot's Cretaceous period Dinobot figures from the Hello Carbot's movie they did last year, and the other set was for these guys, Miniforce X, and this is their X Commander Combiner or whatever it's called. Yeah, so I went ahead and bought this over a period of months. Now this thing is it's a clusterfuck of plastic. It's bloody awful. I wanted to go for the combiner. It's made up out of 4 bots. You've got Lucy Bot, who's the pink bot. You've got Max Bot, who's the legs. You've got Semi Bot, who's the backpack and the head sculpt, and then you've got Volt Bot, who forms like the upper torso and the shoulders. Out of the 4 bots that make up this combiner, only one of them is half decent, and that's the red guy. The rest of them are utter garbage. And I will admit that this yellow guy here, Maxbot, who forms the legs, he is quite possibly the worst figure that I got last year. And this is my own personal opinion. I mean, other people's opinion might differ. That's just the way of things. But I like to be perfectly honest about what I think of these Korean bots. That's part of the reason why I review them, because, you know, most other people who review these are Korean. You can't understand what they're saying, and their review style is basically magic hands, open the box, fiddle about with the toy in front of the camera, usually to some music, don't bother saying anything about it, or if they are talking about it, they're gabbling away in Korean, and you can't understand a word they're saying, but they're being openly positive and, showing all the best points about the toy and not necessarily the bad points. They don't go through the articulation or anything like that. And articulation is one of the things where the Korean bots are sadly lacking compared to Transformer figures. Anyway, I paid over 200 quid for this thing. I think it was about 240 quid all up. I think, or 220, 240 quid all up I paid for this thing. So, major investment to get this thing. I admit it does look kind of good in the combined mode, but I mean, it can barely hold its arms straight. There's no working knee. Well, it has got a knee if you undo that switch, but it doesn't hold in place. This thing, because of the way the feet work, it struggles to stand up straight, and there's so many things wrong with it. And you would think after buying that, I would be mad, absolutely stark raving mad, to buy another figure from the Miniforce X line. Well, call me crazy. I bought this guy. This is Miniforce X Raybot, or, well, this is his car mode. And before we get into the figure, let's have a quick look at the box. So here is the box. And as you can see, it's quite large. Typical Miniforce X box. It's got, on the side, it's got the picture of the head sculpts of the robot mode down the side of the box. Big window, the big logo here. Now this guy is a triple changer, so it's got 3 modes, and they make a point of that, mention it down there. You've got the Miniforce X logo up there, and then on the side it's got 1 mode, 2 mode, 3 modes, and then it's got pictures of them on the back as well. So yeah, large box, typical sort of Korean packaging, and that's that. So now he's a triple changer. He's got 3 modes. He's got a car mode, a beast mode, a bird mode, and he's also got a robot mode, obviously. So we're starting out with the car mode, and it's got this big black sort of muscle car type thing. Now, I like to think, looking at this, that this is it's like a gangstermobile, right? It's like a Chrysler 300C or a Cadillac CTS-V. It's got that look about it. It's sleek. It's got like a big imposing grille. You know, it's a big, massive, chunky car mode, and compared to the other Miniforce X figures, this guy has got some serious heft to him. He's really, really heavy, and that's just the wheels rattling, but doesn't make a noise. Very, very solidly formed together. Now, it does have these slightly unsightly wings on the back, which, in my opinion, kind of ruined the car mode a little bit. But fortunately, being a Miniforce X figure, it's got parts forming, and these do come off, like so. And you can take them off. They are quite tight. And then you get a slightly cleaner car mode. I mean, it's got this bit of a bump on the back end, but, you know, it's a really awesome looking car. I mean, it's got these huge wheels which are, you know, painted and roll really well. The grill's picked out nicely in paint. It's got these grills and gold bits on the top, and underneath, obviously, scrunched up robot parts. Though you can sort of see the legs and sort of the chest, but, you know, you can't really see much else. So as a car former, it's really successful. Now, this figure came out back end of last year. He came out, I think it was a back end of November, early December, and as I was committed to buying the other Miniforce figures and those Hello Carbot Dinobot figures, I had to put this guy on the back burner. But I said, right, I'm definitely going to go for this guy in the new year. And last year I also did that thing where I sort of tried to theme the KTRTs I bought, and I quite like the idea of, you know, picking two you know, sort of Korean toys from different manufacturers that have similarities, be it colour or alt mode or whatever, and I'm carrying that through into this year. So this month, both my Korean toys have the theme of being car formers, and this being the first. So yeah, there he is in his car mode, and it's an awesome car mode. It's big, it's heavy, well, you have to take my word for it, it rolls extremely well. Hasn't got much ground clearance, but then again, you know, it's supposed to be like a gangster cruiser, and it's supposed to be really lowered and blacked out windows and all that stuff. So yeah, it's got all that going on. Now, this character, Ray, is from Miniforce X Season 3, which obviously the Miniforce X figures are from, and he's like an extra character with a different robot who works in conjunction with the other 4 figures and the combiner. I haven't actually watched Season 3 of Miniforce X. I've just seen a sort of few random clips on YouTube. I think he was in earlier seasons. Like in Season 2, there was another bot which was a repaint of the Hello Carbot's King Guys mould, where they repainted and remoulded it. It was in the show, but they never actually made a toy of it, which was unfortunate, because I would have liked to have got one of those. But anyway, so getting back to this guy, big, mean looking gangster-mobile. Like I said, he does have these wing bits, which, like I said, they plug on the back, and give him these ridiculous sort of wings on the back. But very, very good, solid, strong car mode, and so far so good. You know, this thing really impresses me, and, you know, like I said, it came out back in last year. I really wanted to get it, and I've got it now, and I'm reviewing it for you. So that's the car mode. Awesome. So transformation. Now, this guy is a triple changer. He does have 3 modes. This is mode number 1. Mode number 2 is a beast former. It's a bird. So, and for this, we do need to take these bits off and start the transformation. So first of all, you pull the front of the car away like that, and then you can take these pieces and fold them up. Then you split the front of the car like so for now. Then you get the arms, robot arms, and pull them down. Then you can bring these bits out to the side, and they form the wings of the bird. Right? Then you open this flap on the top, flip out the bird head, flip that down. You can sort of fold them down a little bit, and you go round to the back, well actually the underneath, got these claws, bring them forwards, and then you can sort of try to get the legs sort of positioned, and then we go round to the back. Now underneath you've got this piece here which unclips and folds forwards, and then in here you've got a little gold thing which you flip round, a little gold flap that you flip round and it plugs into there like so, and then that gives you the tail section. Now in the tail section are some pegging ports. You get these wing pieces and then you just plug them in like that, the parts forming part, and there we have it. There is Miniforce X Raybot in his bird mode, and this is called X Hawk, because if you look on the box it says on the side, it says Ray X Car, and then it says Ray X Hawk. So this is Ray X Hawk, and now there's quite an obvious problem with this, and that's the fact that they use basically the front halves of the car to form the wings. Now they are sort of chunky, very, very blocky. They don't much look like the flat aerodynamic profile of a wing, and that's where this mode sort of falls flat a little bit. I mean, I would say the bird mode is the worst out of the three modes, but only because of this reason. Now you can sort of angle them forwards a bit, like so, to give them a little bit of a more aerodynamic profile. But it has got a beak. It doesn't open. It can move up and down a little bit. Now the wings are formed on they're formed on the robot mode hips, so you can wiggle them around and get you know, sort of a bit of forwards and backwards. And if you angle the hips a certain way, just give me a moment, you can get a little bit of sort of flapping motion going on. Now, the other thing about this that's a little bit disappointing is the legs. Now, the problem is these ratchets here are very weak, and this thing's got a lot of weight, so you go to stick it on the floor and it just falls over. So the arm ratchets, or the leg ratchets, they just aren't strong enough to support its weight, which is unfortunate. Now, obviously, the tail section's pretty cool. I mean, it's got this. It has got these little joints that can move up and down a little bit. It does kind of sag, but again, there's a lot of weight pressing on this little gold catch that holds it in place. So you know, you can't get it to stick up or anything. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, the bird mode, it's a little unusual. It looks good, don't get me wrong, it looks good, and it kind of looks like a bird, but because of the bulk of the wings, it doesn't quite measure up. However, if you think this looks bad for a bird former, you need to have a look at this guy. So this is Hello Carbot's King Guys that I mentioned earlier. That was a remold, repaint of this was in Miniforce X Season 2, though I've not really seen the episodes for it, so I don't know whether it was a full quadruple changer, because this is a quadruple changer. This has four modes, a robot mode and 3 beast modes. And this is the bird mode. And as you can see, look at this thing. Look at all this crap under the wings. So these are basically the legs of the robot, and they're just pegged under the wings. And it has got a nice wingspan. It's got a little bit of a tail, and it's got a beak at the front. But you know, it's got some little talons that stick down underneath. But it is absolutely ridiculous. And out of the two, I would have to say that this is a better looking bird mode. I mean, the colour's more cohesive. It looks like a raven or something. You know, it looks like a, well, even though it's supposed to be a hawk, it's, you know, it's a black menacing sort of bird of prey. This thing's just, yeah, to call that a bird is a bit of a stretch. I just thought I'd put that in just to give you an example of another sort of a Korean toy that I've got that is a bird format, apart from obviously Turning Mech Card Phoenix figures that I've had and reviewed. So yeah, that is the bird mode. It's okay. It's a little unusual looking. It's a shame they couldn't have done some more with the with this to make it look, give it a flatter profile to make it look more like a wing. But hey ho, there you go. So get that out of the way. Get this bird out of the way. We'll go on to the final mode, which is the robot mode. Now, the robot mode, you sort of fold them up. Now, obviously, put the bird head away, and you sort of flip this thing up, pull the parts forming pieces off the tail, and then fold it down and click it into the front. You then bring the legs down to the front, fold these pieces into the back. You then pull this piece out and you fold it in, and there's a little peg there, and you just clip it in, and then you bring the toe out. So you fold that round, clip it in, and there is the legs. And then the arms, you sort of fold the back parts of the car out, bring the arms down, you get these pieces and you plug them back into the back of the car mode, like so, and then you sort of fold them out like this. I suppose you can have these up if you want, but you can sort of fold them back. Right. So yeah, it gives him some wings on the back, and then finally pull the head sculpt forward, and there we go. There he is in robot mode, and this is the Miniforce X Raybot, and wow, this thing's amazing. Just look at the design on it. Look at all the colours. I mean, you've got all these little purple accents all over the place. You've got the white and the gold and the black. Really, really cool design. He's big. I mean, size comparison. Look at him next to Combiner Wars Meg's a leader class figure, and you know, look how much bigger he is. He's huge. This guy's massive. He's bigger than the average, you know, Korean bot, because Korean bots tend to be like leader class scale, and this guy is like, you know, leader class plus. He's like the next scale up, if there is such a thing. Very, very cool looking figure, and it's just go all the way around. Cleans up pretty well. I mean, he's got these flaps on the back, but apart from that, there's not really much in the way of kibble on this guy, because most of his car mode forms, you know, workable bits of the robot. Articulation. Now he does have a head movement, though it sits in a little trough on this this little head flap, so it's only got limited movement from side to side, which is a shame. Shoulders are on a ratchet. They can go all the way around. Obviously, these bits get in the way, so there's only so far they can go back. And then you've got the arms that go out to there, come down to there. Now, no bicep swivels on this guy, unfortunately. I mean, he does have an elbow, which only goes to about 45 degrees. Now, this guy doesn't have any bicep swivels, but he does have some unusual joints in the shoulders, which means you can kind of make up for the fact that, you know, his arm does that. So what you do is you just... Well, you can't flip it round with the things in the way, so really you need to put them up there. Then you can bring the shoulders round, or you can take these wing pieces off the back, because they kind of get in the way of his arm articulation if you want to do this. So basically you can fold that round, and then it gives you the elbow going forward. So you can sort of work in. It's kind of like a built-in, well, the bicep swivel's kind of built into the shoulder rather than the arm, which is kind of weird, but you can sort of get some articulation out of it doing this. But yeah, obviously in order to get the clearance you have to take the these bits off the back. So let's put them back on. Have I got that the right way around? No. Okay, we're back. So yeah, so moving down to the waist. Now he does have these little flaps that open up, and it goes that far forward. Now it's restricted going back because of these pieces, but you can actually, they do fold out. I think they're supposed to be folded out to the side, and then that gives him a little bit more movement going back, but you're still kind of restricted because of clearance issues around here. Now, decent spread. He does have thigh swivels because of the transformation. Knees kind of go back to like 45 degrees because obviously you've got clearance issues on the car windscreens. And the feet, he's got little bit of a toe bend, hasn't really got an ankle tilt or anything, but you know, he's got that angle cut on his feet to give him a neutral A stance. So that's that. So yeah, he has got some meaningful articulation. He's got the basics, plus you know, if you mess around with his joints you can get a little bit extra, so you can get him in some fairly dynamic poses. I do think proportional wise his arms are a little on the short side. His arms I think should come down a little bit further, but it's a shame he hasn't got any bicep swivels, but again, minor gripe. There's not really much I can criticise about this toy because unlike the rest of the, I mean unlike these things, I mean it's chalk and cheese. And look at the size comparison. I mean he's quite big compared to this thing. But Miniforce X Raybot is a fantastic figure, and he's expensive. I mean, when this guy came out, he was over 70 quid. He came down in price a little bit. I paid about, I think it's about 65 for it. Price of KTRT seems to be creeping up. I mean, obviously, with all the Brexit palaver going on in the UK, the pound, the value of the pound has plummeted to an all-time low. So it's not very good when you're having to buy stuff from overseas and paying the exchange rates. It doesn't really help matters. But this guy is, for what you pay for him, he's definitely worth it. I mean, he's so much better than all the other Miniforce X figures. And I would probably go so far as to say this is probably the best Miniforce figure they've done, end of. Even though I haven't really got much in the way of Miniforce figures from you know, seasons 1 and 2. I've just got Voltbot. Yeah, he's fantastic, and the weight of him, he's so heavy, and he's so solid. He's super solid. Them Miniforce figures, you know, if you did a rattle test on them, they'd literally shake themselves to pieces. They're so light and flimsy, but this thing is the total opposite. He's big, he's heavy, he's bulky. You know, he's got decent amount of workable joints. He's a fantastic figure, and I really like him, and he's definitely a contender for one of the best bots I've got this month. He's that good. So yeah, that's been me, TFR Wilderness. That's been my review of Miniforce X Raybot. He's a fantastic figure. If you're looking at getting him, I can highly recommend him. He's definitely a lot better than the other Miniforce X figures that they've done. I've got another KTRT review coming out next week. It's another car former from a different line, a new toy line that it's my first figure from this new toy line, and so you'll see that next week. But for now, I've been TFR Wilderness. Thank you for watching. Catch you all next time. Ta-da.